Welcome back to another episode of ATS Examples of Play by ATS Fully Engaged. I'm Evan, and I'm here to go through even more grenade and melee attacks. Fun, fun, fun. So let's get to it. So we're going to say now the Americans, so this will be more of an actual full example of putting all the pieces together. We'll say the Americans now win initiative. These guys are going to toss their grenades. As discussed, these guys are ineligible, so they're going to throw their grenades over here. Now, again, so 3 times their stacking points, 3 little dudes, so 9, rounded out to the 8 column. We're going to say they roll a 2, so a C3. I'm going to put all that goodness on this guy, so we're going to flip him. Oops, that's not right. Flip him and give him a casualty marker for C3. Now, we roll morale checks. We're going to say they both pass. I mean, Sergeant Dank is going to need a 3 or less. This guy's going to need like a 1. But that's okay. We'll say they beat the odds and pass their morale checks. So now it'll be to the German player. And he will infiltrate. In this case, it doesn't matter, but he could go in either order. Something else can happen if the American player would take his impulse if there's something else happening on the map. If not, it would go right to the Germans. So now they're going to be in their melee. So once again, we're going to drag this big old honkin' stack over here and lay them all out to do some fighting. Oops, that machine gun. How'd that get out there? Okay, that's with this guy. Once again, we'll have Sergeant Dank defending with the engineers with the 828. These guys will line up over here. The machine gun in the back. Again, the machine gun, medium machine gun, does not participate. So let's fight it out. So the Germans initiated the melee. They infiltrated into the Americans' hex. So they have to decide their order in which, or the manner in which they're attacking first. Not the order, it's simultaneous. So they have to set up their combat. So we're going to just say they all together attack these guys over here. And the Americans are going to choose to team up with their 2 dudes and attack this squad along with Sergeant Danky. So simultaneous action, we'll just say the Germans go first, doesn't really matter. So we're going to have an 8, these guys are going to be a 2, that's a 10, and then we get 5 more for the machine gun. So that's going to be a 15 to 6, not quite a 3 to 1. So on the 2 to 1, as I'm sure I've neglected to mention in other videos, as opposed to regular play, the machine gun does not subtract, or any carry weapon does not subtract its carry points from your gunfire factors. So that's why he's a 2, not a 1. Now, if he were over here on the map somewhere shooting off his machine gun and using his gunfire factors, he would have just a 1 gunfire factor, because it's -1 for the casualty and -1 for a 1 carry point weapon being, well, carried. But in melee, your carried weapons do not count against your gunfire factors. So this is applied to all the videos. And I calculated them right. Hopefully you induced, deduced, reduced, figured it out. So it's going to be a 15 to 6, which is going to round down to a 2 to 1 with a -1. So we're going to say they roll not so great. We're going to say they roll a 10. So he's going to be down as a C1. A 10 becomes a 10 with a -1 becomes a 9. So that is a C1. And he's going to be hanging out. Now they're going to attack. We just ignore the C1 for the purposes of this attack, since it happens at the same time. We have an 8. It's not going to be an 8 to 8. We will have 2 reasons why. It's going to be an 8 to 10. Sergeant Dank adds his gunfire factors to the defense. I pointed at his range. His gunfire factors, the first one. Now, you could use it to add to the attack. Normally, you don't do that. You just use it get the DRM to the attack to direct the fire. Regardless of how you use your leader to attack, whether for the DRM, for leading the attack, or using his gunfire factors, on the defense, he gets to add his little dinky pistol into the fight. So there will be at a 9, and then, again, if you have all your non-leader personnel in a melee with an 8 or higher morale, you get another bonus +1. So they're going to have +1 for that, and +1, or 1 more for the leader, so they're going to be at a 10. So not quite a 1 to 1, so that'll round down to the 2 to 1 column. So we'll just roll that up. A 6 on the 1 to 2 is a whole big nothing. So the melee continues. This will be the second round of melee. So we'll do the same deal. We're going to have 15 again. Now it's going to be 15 to 5. So 3 to 1 with a -1. We'll roll this up. A 3 on the 3 to 1. It sounds horrible. C6. Yeah, so he's a goner. And we'll do the same attack that it was going to be before. So solo 1 to 2 with no mods. A 1. Holy cow. All right. So that is a C2. So we'll flip Sergeant Dank, and the squad will take this, and as a casualty marker. So the American squad is donezo. Now we get to the third round of melee. These guys are all going to obviously attack this guy, and we're going to roll this out because he's clearly going to die. Not looking so good. And he could get a 1 to 2 on this guy, or 1 to 1, but whatever. We don't need to roll it out. Now, there's 2 important things to note. 1, this is the third round of melee, so this machine gun with its rate of fire 2 will not fire in this round. So these 2 squads will both fire at the crew, but the machine gun is now done. If it's had 3 to fire 3, you can fire 3 rounds. I don't think there's a machine gun that only has a rate of fire 1. What kind of a machine gun would that be? But it could only fire in 1 round. So that's important. So you have to keep track of the rounds. I mean, normally it's not a big deal if you've got like 20 guys attacking 20 other guys. You might start to forget. So, put a marker, a die down, putting it with a 1 and a 2 and a 3. But then after the third round, I mean, there's not any machine guns with a rate of fire 4. So I say that, and then someone's going to be like, "Oh yeah, but look at this AAA or AA gun. It's got a rate of fire 4." So whatever. It's not going to go that long. And the other important thing to note is that, and hopefully you've noticed this again, that you've paid attention and realized the way we've been calculating it correctly, is that machine guns only add to the offense. They never add to the defense. I guess, I haven't attacked this squad, but even if they had, when these guys were here on the second round, if these 2 guys had attacked this guy, you would not add the 5 in. You just, for defense, the machine guns do not count. So after all these guys are dead, and this guy ends up here, and these guys will still end up in their stack, and that will be the end of this horribly fun and complex grenade and melee attack. Get reloaded for the next one.